Okay, so from here we can start the presentation. So today we are going to look into how to populate data and how to retrieve data. And by retrieving data, we are also going to address some of the questions that can be answered using SQL. From today onwards, we are going to solve some of the business questions. Okay, and so today's agenda. So today we are on the fourth day. And so far we have finished a database fundamentals and we have created a data model for the restaurant mini project that we are building. And then we also yesterday created the underlying table structure using DDL commands. Okay, so far we have created a data model and actual physical tables. Today we are going to see how we are going to populate data and how we are going to retrieve data using some of the basic DQL statements. And agenda is data population, data retrieval, and data consideration. There are certain consideration we need to see. So this is a more of a recap for the case study. The recap is a chain of restaurant wants to build an application to capture, store, process, and report their daily business transaction. So this is a basic objective of this app that they want to build, and they want to track customer visits, order details, items ordered against the master list of menu items. Okay, so what kind of question that they want this application to answer? Most ordered items, most frequently visiting customer, and time of the day analysis, week of the day analysis, right? Breakfast versus lunch, which item is moving fast? Restaurant wise, customer wise, day wise, item wise, they want to get the breakup, right? To get the various perspective of their own business. So today we are going to address these questions. Okay, so today we are going to help the business owner to find, okay, what all are the restaurants opened after 2000, year 2000, and then list down the customers. Give me all the list of customers. Okay, and then list down the menu items, only veg items, and then give me the items of type beverage and meal. Right, item contains biryani in the name. Item name contains in the menu list, and then unique item types, and finally we are going to write a SQL query to get the items whose cost is greater than 70 rupees and are of tiffin items. Okay, so these kind of queries we are going to write. So today onwards, it's going to be exciting journey. So we are going to start writing SQL queries because data is going to be there. So the first thing that we are going to see today is the data population. Okay, so we are going to populate data using insert statement. Okay, so with insert is the statement. It is a DML statement, data manipulation. So we are entering into the data manipulation language queries. So till yesterday we were seeing DDL, data definition language. It's only defining the underlying schema. We were not populating data, we were not modifying data, we were not removing data. Okay, so that is a DDL statement. Today we are entering into populating data, which is nothing but inserting new data. So insert statement is part of the DML statement, data manipulation language. Okay, so we are going to see how we can insert a record, how to insert multiple records, and also other consideration, right? So integer field, how we populate data versus character, how do we populate data, and date field and so on. And also we are going to see how the constraints are working. Okay, so how the constraints are protecting and throwing error message in case if the constraints are not followed. Okay, so for that I'm going to show you. So this is the SQL Management Studio where we created the structure yesterday. Okay, so we created the structure with the table with the field names, right, with the data type and the constraint. So this is the primary key, restaurant ID. So what I'm passing, this is the insert into table name. So I'm inserting data into this table. So that's how the meaning is. Okay, so this is the syntax for populating data into a table. Okay, and what I'm doing, I'm passing the values. So insert into the table into which I want to populate data, and the values are, we need to give an parenthesis, between parentheses, representing this is one record. So this entire line is representing one record. Okay, I need to give in the same order. For example, I'm giving one as the restaurant ID, right? So this is an integer, so this can be represented as it is. But for character or string, we need to give within single quotes. Okay, no double quotes, this is a single quotes. Within a single quotes, we need to specify what is the chain of the restaurant name. So it is called New India Restaurant. Okay, and then this is the area inside a city. So this is MG Road, and this the city name is Bangalore. So you see, we are giving the same order. And then finally we are giving, okay, when the restaurant opened, since when this is operational. Okay, finally we need to give a comma separator to differentiate. Okay, that second column we are going to give. Okay, so this is the field separator, record separator, followed by the second record. So then there is one more comma, and final record will not have the comma, because that indicates this is the end of the statement. Okay, so in a single statement, insert into statement, we are populating 3 records into this table. 3 records we are populating. So basically for the 3 restaurants, we are populating data. Okay, so this is how we can write a insert into statement to populate data into this table. So the same way I am populating the customer data. So this is a customer table that we created yesterday. It's a simple table, ID, name and number, mobile number. Okay, so if you see, I am just following the same thing. Just for a better understanding, I'm bringing it down. Okay, so I'm bringing it down so that you can see all our well structured data. I'm creating around 7 customer. Okay, 7 customer and their respective mobile number. Okay, so this is what right now I'm inserting. And then third thing that I'm doing, so here in SQL Management Studio, you can see the all the tabs, because there are multiple tabs are open, right? So how you can see, there are just 4 tabs it is showing, but there are more than that. So for to find all this thing, so you see on the right side corner, yeah, if you click, you will get to see all the open tabs. Whichever that you want to work, you can select. Okay, now I want to insert menu item. So menu item, this is a list of items that is for the entire menu. And if you remember, we created item ID will be primary key, and item name is a not null constraint. Okay, and then item type. Item type, now we are saying only we have put a constraint, check constraint. It will allow only if it is a tiffin, snack, starter. So bunch of items that I will list I have given. So we can insert any item only of this item type. We cannot insert anything other than this. We are going to see how SQL Server is going to enforce the constraints. Okay, so now the same way I'm inserting around 16 items. I'm giving the same order: item ID, item name, then what is the item type. So idli is a tiffin. And the item rate per is 1, right? One item, no, this is it a veg item or is it a non-veg flag? You see, is which flag? Is veg flag is 1 for all veg items, then followed by the price, and this is rate per. So 2 idlis, right? Generally it is a set, right? 2 idli rate is 35 rupees. And finally item contains, I don't put anything because this is a single item. Okay, so likewise I populate for dosa, coffee. Coffee is a beverage. Okay, only the item type is different. And then South Indian meals, and then the North Indian thali, for that I put meal. Okay, so then gulab jamun is a sweet. So all the items that I put. Finally for the tiffin combo, for example mini tiffin. Mini tiffin is more of a combo, right? So I can change this to combo. So mini tiffin is more of a combo. For the combo, I am just saying finally what all items it contains. It contains 1 idli, 1 dosa and 1 coffee. So like that we can specify. Okay, so right now I've inserted all 16 records, 16 items into the menu card, just for our project for the time being. Okay, And now I'm going to show you how the constraints are working. How constraints prevent bad data getting inserted. So can I insert any item ID with null value? Can I insert with an item ID of null value? Because it's a primary key, right? It won't allow. So if I go back to the top, you see this item ID is a primary key. We know what is a primary key character. Character of a primary key is it won't allow null value. So I am trying to insert. You see first value I am inserting with null value to see whether does it allow or not. When I try to insert, it clearly throws an error message saying this item ID column does not allow nulls. Okay, so this is the advantage of having a primary key. Similarly, the item name. So item name should be valid name, right? So it should be chapati or puri or meal, whatever. But I cannot put a null value because it is a not null value. It doesn't accept or allow not null value. So if I try to insert with a null value for item name, it won't allow. So this is how it prevents bad data getting inserted. And one more example is check constraint. If you remember check constraint, I'm only allowing items of type a tiffin, snack, starter, meal, and so on, right? So suddenly, if I try to insert an item, right, with meal and tiffin, the name is totally different. It is not in the allowed list, right? Check constraint specify the allowed list of values. But if I give any name, okay, so if I just join today, can anyone guide how to cover earlier thought? Okay, so we haven't covered much. So we have just started with inserting data into the table. Okay, and so this is the syntax just to cover it to you. So the how we are seeing the syntax to uh, uh, populate data into a table. So the syntax is okay. So I would request everyone to join maybe at the right time so that you don't miss and we don't need to repeat the class. But just for the benefit of people who have just joined, insert into values will insert record into a table. Yesterday we saw defining table structure, and now with insert into we can insert data. Okay, so insert into the statement. It's a DML statement, data manipulation language, which is used to populate data. Okay, so we need to give in the same order of the column. One is for the item ID, second is for the item name, item type, and this is veg flag. Is it a vegetarian or non-vegetarian item? And this is the rate, and this is the rate per two idlis, and this is one rate, one dosa, right? So that is how we have populated data. Right now I'm explaining how we can validate the constraint, how constraint is working in favor of us. It is preventing bad data getting inserted into the system. Okay. So now what I'm doing is instead of meal or tiffin, I'm saying meal and tiffin, right? The value is not there in the check constraint list of valid values. So if I insert, immediately it throws an error message saying it is a check constraint conflict, right? It does not allow this particular value. This value should be one of the value from this list. Okay, so now we have seen how we can insert data into the menu also. We have seen. Now we are going to insert data into order table. Okay, first we need to insert data into the order header. Order header, I am just inserting data for order 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? It's order. For 7 orders, I've inserted data. First is for the first restaurant. First restaurant, it's a Bangalore restaurant, right? And this is for the first customer. And then I need to specify what time and date he visited the customer, visited the restaurant, or placed the order, right? So that information is what we are capturing. It's a simple table order header. It is kind of capturing the order ID, restaurant ID, customer ID, and then the time of the order. Okay, and in a few minutes we are going to see how to retrieve data. But before that, let's finish the order item also. So order item table, again it is a order item ID, and this is the menu item ID, right? So all the information we need to capture. So I'm capturing, this is for the first order, it is only one item. and the item ID is 1, and this is a menu item ID. So 2 means, you know, right, what is the menu item, corresponding menu item? 2 means I think dosa. So he has ordered dosa for 70 rupees and he ordered 2 dosa. So totally 140 rupees. Okay, and for the second order, the first item is the for third customer, and he has ordered a third item. So third item is I think coffee. So he had only coffee, one coffee, so 30 rupees. So like that we have inserted for the 11 records. Okay, 11 orders. So now I'm trying to insert 12th record. So 12th record I'm inserting, right? 12th record I'm inserting, but I'm inserting for a item ID of 22. But if you remember, the menu card only has 16 items. So I'm trying to insert an order item which is not there in the menu. So when I try to insert, the foreign key violation will happen. So you see, it is saying the foreign key constraint. So foreign key is preventing us to create an order with an item which is not at all there in the menu card, right? So we cannot place an order which is outside of menu card item. Okay, so here is, this is where the foreign key constraint works. So now so far we have seen all these examples. So how to insert a integer. Okay, it's a normal number that we need to give in the insert statement. Okay, let me go to order header. Yeah, and then for both date field as well as the character field, string field, we need to use the single quotes. Okay, so we need to use the single quotes while feeding the data for date field or time field or string field. Okay, so that is what here we are seeing, what is the format of populating data. And we have checked the null constraint, primary key constraint, check constraints. We have seen how it prevents bad data getting inserted. Okay, the hands-on is what we have seen. With that, I'm moving on to the data retrieval, the exciting part, right, which is where we are going to write DQL statements. So DQL statements are data query language. Data query language wherein we are going to retrieve the data. Retrieval the data means what is stored inside. Whatever is stored inside, we are going to write as statements based on the business question that we want to address. Okay, so this is most of the time, maybe I would say 80-90% of the time we would be using DQL statement, right? So for data analyst job or scientist job, so let's say if you want to become a data scientist or data analyst, business analyst, you will be using most of the time preparing, running or creating the DQL statements. Okay. So it has two elements, basic elements. Today we are going to see the basic elements. Tomorrow we are going to see some of the advanced features or the classes that using which you can address complex business questions. So today we are going to see select and where class. So select class. Select is the basic statement you are requesting to SQL Server saying, show me. Select is nothing but show me. Okay, give me the result. List the result. Okay. So I'm going to show you. You can use select star. Select star means all the fields it will show. So now for the hands-on, I'm going to take you and I'm going to show you example. Okay, so I'm going to show you first. Let's see all the menu cards, right? So we'll start with the menu card. Okay, I will start a new query. I'm going to show you. Okay, select star from customer table. Okay, so this is how you can give a command, a DQL command, to request the SQL Server to show me, give us the result. Okay, so it is giving us the output. So this is a very basic statement that you should know. Select star from customer. Star means all the columns, all the fields of the customer table will be displayed. You see here there are 3 columns, all 3 columns are being displayed. Okay, and if you want only the name and mobile number, what you can do, customer name comma mobile number. Okay, so immediately if you see, when you start typing, SQL intelligent will automatically show, you see it is all automatically giving as a mobile number, right? So when you start typing MOB, so this is how SQL Management Studio works. And now let's say instead of star, I'm only giving directly the list of columns that I'm interested. You see, it will only give those columns. Okay. So this is the difference between star versus giving the column name. Okay. And if you see the result set, we are getting in a grid format. But if you want to get the result in a text format, then what you should do, as I explained in the first class, result to text. You see, just set that option and execute the query again. For executing the query, you need to highlight the query and press F5 or execute button. Right. So then if you see, the data is getting fetched in a text format. Okay. Because this field is this much width, varchar of 50, right? So that's why it is showing in a 50 character. If you remember why it is showing this width, because this data type is varchar of 50. That's why it is showing 50 characters by default. Okay. And now, but by default, people use grid. But in case if you want to store this output in a file, somebody is asking, show me, send it by email, then you select this option, results to file. When you execute, SQL will automatically ask you, okay, give me the file name, where to store. So once it is stored, you can email that file. Okay, there are three options available, but by default we use results to grid because that is very intuitive, easy to interpret. You see, it shows like a table format. Okay. So now we have seen star versus column list, right? We can give star, otherwise we can give specific column that of our interest. Then column display name. Let's say the table name can be the table by default customer underscore name, right? But instead of that, if I want to give my own name for this query, right? I want to simply say name, right? I can then type like this as show this for the column display name. So the table may have a column name, for example, customer underscore name, but that is not an user friendly name, right? So to make it a more user friendly name, and so if you want to give a better name, so we can use as and then followed by the name. For example, I can specify customer underscore name. Similarly, for mobile number, I can give. So the as is non optional, so we can specify or we don't need to specify. Okay, so mobile number. Let's see. Yeah, so three different approach. One is with as I've given in a single quotes, we see a different name. And for mobile number, I've given just mobile. So it also accepts that. And for mobile number, I am also giving another approach only with a single quotes. So it accepts. So these are the three mechanisms, three methods using which we can give user friendly display name for any column in the select list. Next, we are moving on to the table alias. So table alias is useful when we don't want to specify the complete name of the table. For example, I can specify instead of customer name, I can specify table A. For example, let's say select star from restaurant, right? So we have. So now let's say if I want to specify restaurant dot city, right? So what I can do, I can simply specify restaurant city. So this will give the output. And sometimes no, if we are using more than one table, later we are going to see. And that time, what we'll have to do, we'll have to specify the table name dot column name, so that to make it explicitly, okay, this column from this table. Okay. So for that, instead of typing the entire table name again and again, so what we can do, we can give a simple alias. And that alias can be used. Okay, and that alias can be used in the query. So this would look more easy, productivity point of view and readability point of view. So it looks much simple. The code looks much simple. Okay, r dot restaurant city and r dot, right? So open date and r dot. So like that we can start typing the SQL query. Okay. So now we are going to learn about the distinct. A distinct is going to remove duplicates from the result set, not from the table. So the table may have a duplicate, or the result, the SQL query output may have contain the duplicate. But the distinct keyword, if you use in the select class, which will remove the duplicate. Okay, it will show the unique records. For example, if you see, let's say in our example, the item, right? So menu item, we are going to see, let's say item type. First, let's see the entire table, then we'll get an idea. So this menu item table contains item type. For example, it is a tiffin or meal, right? That is a more of a type of the food. And let's say if I only select that, if somebody asks me, give me the list of all all item types that you have in your restaurant. So I can, if I just only select that column, if you see, it will, the data looks duplicate because it is showing at the item level, but we don't need item level item type. So all we need the list of unique item type. So for that, we can use distinct. So distinct, if you use, the SQL will provide you the distinct values. It removes all duplicates and provides unique value. Okay, so distinct is very powerful to provide the output in a desired format. And the next one is the top. So top will restrict the number of records to be returned to the front end. Okay, in the output. For example, let's say a company who has for example 10,000 employees. If you say select star from employee, then it returns 10,000 records, and let's say if the table is having 20-30 columns, so it's a huge result set that it is going to return. Let's say for your analysis, you need only the first 10 records. Then what you can do, you can use a top statement. So top is a keyword, needs to be used along with the select statement. For example, I can say top 2 customers. Okay, so I can restrict the number of records to be returned, just 2 records. Without that, if I execute, it will return for all the customers, right? Let's say if there are 7 customers, it returns all. But let's say if I need only top 2 customer. Okay, so top 2 customer if I need, I can use the top keyword, and let's say if I say top 20. So the record is only 7 records, right? So it is not going to throw any error message if you specify a higher value, because top will only mention the upper limit. Okay, it doesn't restrict anything if it is less than 20. Okay, so it doesn't throw any error message. Similarly, if you specify top 0, what data it will return? It won't return any record, because we are saying just return 0 records. So top can be used to control the number of records that will be returned to the output. So basically this top keyword is very important, especially in many interview questions. They will ask, show me the top 3 profitable companies. Show me the top 5 highly paid employees. Okay. Show me the top 50 most population countries with the most population. Right. So for all such scenarios, you can use the top. Okay. Maybe top, no, top 3 okay, poorly performing employees. Give me the 3 poorly performing employees, or least salary paid, least experience. So all these things, generally people expect top 10, top 5. So for all such scenarios, you can use top keyword. Okay, so now we are going to go to the interesting segment where we are going to filter data. So far, if you see, we have just learnt about selecting and retrieving data from a result from a table using select and from command. Now we are going to learn how to filter a data, how to filter the output, right? So where condition can be used, where class can be used to filter the data. So there are various operators and method to filter the data. Let's see one by one. First is the comparison operator. So for the comparison operators are like equal to and not equal to, right, greater than or greater than equal to. So all these are comparison operator. For example, if I want to only, the business question is, what is the rate of idli? Okay, so what is the rate of idli? Let's say I'm only saying idli ID, item name, okay, and item rate. So here they are asking only idli, right? So without where class, let's say I'm selecting without where class. Without where class, if I execute, you see I'm returning for all everything, right? So but the question is only for idli. So you need to add a where condition where item name equal to idli. So this is a very specific filter, exact match. Okay, so exact match we are doing to return only one record. not one record. So fortunately this has only one record, but this is an exact match. Only one record has this value. So now we are going to return the same exact match on item type. So if you execute on an item type, show me the list of all Tiffin items. Okay. So then use that filter where item type equal to Tiffin. So it returns all the Tiffin items, right? So all the Tiffin items it will return. So this way we will be able to only return the records of our interest based on user's command or based on the business question. Okay, so the same way I can do non-Tiffin. So other than Tiffin, can I see? So not equal to. When I say not equal to Tiffin, it returns all the other records. You see, other than Tiffin, it will return all other records. So this way, for example, yeah, not equal to Tiffin, I think I've written already. And then we can see the not equal to can be used like this, not equal to, or we can say this greater than, lesser than, greater than also. This is also like a not equal to. The same operation will be performed. Okay. And then what else we can do? We can also use the greater than or less than. So all the items more than 100 rupees price, right? So if I just use that greater than or equal to 100, then it will return only those items. There are around 8 items whose price is greater than or equal to 100. So there is a difference between greater than or equal to or greater than alone, right? So this will return exclude the 100 rupees if I put only greater than. Okay. So like that we can use all these comparison operators to get the desired results. Let's say if I need to get for a list of items, not one item. Let's say if I want to find tiffin and beverage, both items I want to get in the output. Then what I can do? I can use in statement. In statement I can write to get combine two results, right? Two value, two input condition, right? Tiffin and beverage, both I'm trying to find out. Okay, so this way we can use in statement for not just to, we can write for example meal also we can write. Okay, so I think meal we have our main course. Let's see. Yeah, meal we have. So now we get to see meal output also. Okay, so in condition is extremely important because many times, many scenarios, we will apply condition on multiple value. Okay, so the same way in will work and not in also will exclude this list. This is more of an exclusion list now, not an inclusion list. So exclusion list will only give other items. We have only sweet and main course other than these three item type. Okay, so this way the list of items are more of an inclusive or exclusive. Then we can go for range operator. Range operator we can say item rate from 50 to 100, right? Item rate between 50 and 100, right? So we are giving a range of two condition, basically two values, right? When a range always has two, right? From and to. So we are getting, we are seeing between 50 and 100. And the same between condition can be used in case of date field also. For example, restaurant. So restaurant table also has open date. Okay, so open date between 2001 and 2022 10/01. Okay, so let me execute this to find out. So only there are three restaurants. First restaurant I think it is opened in 1980. That's why it is not showing. So now we can use the between condition to give a date range, starting date and end date. So this should be the starting date. We cannot give end date and starting date, then it won't give any result. We have to give starting date and end date. So this way we can use range operator not only for number. For numbers we can use for alphabets, and also we can use for date. So next operator is a string comparison. Let's see string comparison. We are going to see, so string comparisons more like a contains. So it's not an exact match. We are going to say, okay, the item name menu card contains biryani. So can I find all the items where the the item contains biryani? Right. So biryani, I'm just trying where the item name like and I'm using, I will explain about this no, after seeing the result. Now if you see, it returns all the 4 biryanis that are available in the menu card. So what it means is, it is a special character, while character. So the percentage work, here act like a while character. Okay, so what it means is, I'm saying item name like biryani. So I'm saying the before biryani word should be anywhere in between. Before biryani, there could be any letter or word, anything can be, or after biryani also anything can be there. So, but the name should contain biryani. The item name should contain biryani anywhere. Then we can use it this way. Let's say if I want to find out the menu items where it starts with the biryani, then I should start with the biryani here, the word. But after biryani, it can be anything. Okay, then I can use filter like this. But we don't have anything that biryani. So I'm going to add a biryani before. And now I'm saying any item ends with biryani. So right now it ends with biryani, right? So now let's see. So all 4 will come because all 4 biryani are ending with biryani, right? So now that's how we can do like the like operator that we can use. And then let's say what else that I can do. While character we have seen, percentage we have seen. Now we are going to see underscore. So underscore, the percentage uh, is basically very generic, right? So it doesn't, it can be any number of character, no, can be there before and after, right? Based on the percentage that we put. But the underscore is like, for example, select star from item. Okay, so where item name like underscore dly. So what it means is, the first character can be anything. So first character can be anything. The underscore, when I say first character, can be anything from A to Z. It will return all the items. For example, idli is part of that, right? Because it follows the pattern. DLY is the second character, third character, fourth character. Then it will return. So the underscore is only one character. One character. So whereas the percentage is for any number of character. Okay, so the underscore is for one character. Only that position. Okay, whichever position that you give. For example, you can give here, or you can say idly, right? So here we can say, or we can use two also. The second and third character should be DL. So the first and fourth can be anything. So if I execute, we'll get to see idly. Okay, so this is how we can use that. So now the last one is the square bracket. Within a square bracket, you can specify a range of letters. So for example, I will specify, let me copy paste, and I'm going to use the first letter can be A to C. Okay, then followed by DLY. So, but idli won't come in that range. Let's see whether it returns idli or not. Okay, so let's see. So it doesn't provide, because I is not falling in between. So now let me see GHIJK, right? So I am saying G to J, the range. So idli I is falling in the between this range. So now idli is coming. So this square bracket, right? The square bracket is for range of characters, to specify the range of characters. Okay, so accordingly then it will check. So these are the important string comparison operators. And the last is the multiple conditions. So far, if you see, we have given only one condition, even though we give between, but still it is a one condition, between condition, right? So now we are going to see multiple condition. So the business question is, show me the items whose item rate is greater than 100 and non-veg items, right? So both the condition. So what I'm doing, I'm saying item rate is greater than 100 and is veg flag equal to 0. So veg flag equal to 0 is the non-veg, vegetarian. Okay, because 1 is for vegetarian, 0 is for non-veg item. So now I'm giving both the condition using an AND condition. AND condition is both the condition needs to satisfy, right? So now we are saying chicken biryani, mutton biryani, egg biryani. So all three are non-veg items, flag is 0, and the price is above 100. So now we are seeing and condition, and now we are going to see or condition. Let's see or condition. So whether the item price is 100 or it is a non-veg item. Okay, so the item price is greater than 100 or non-vegetarian item. So what this will do, this will return all the items irrespective of whether it is vegetarian, non-vegetarian. If the price is greater than 100, it will return. And then it will return all non-vegetarian items. It doesn't worry whether it is greater than 100 or less than 100. Right? So both the conditions are on or condition. Right? Any one condition will have to satisfy. So if you see the vegetarian items are also coming. So there are 3 vegetarian items where the price is above 100. So looks like there is no non-vegetarian items less than 100. So it is not appearing. Otherwise, that item also would have come. Okay. So the OR operator will return if any one of the condition is satisfied. Gets satisfied. Okay. So now we are going to see not. I think I already showed you not in. So how we can use not in operator. The business question is show me the items which are not tiffin and beverage. We have already seen how we can use not in because this is an exclusion list. And we can use the list of restaurants which are opened after year 2000. Yes, we can see using the greater than condition. And we can see customer name starts with RA. You see, starts with is what we are checking. So it returns Raja, Rani, Raghav. So all 3 it returns because all 3 names starting letters are RA. Okay. So with that, we have come to the end of today's session. So this is now today we have learned about the selecting data, data retrieval, and basic syntax, and top and distinct operators. And also we have seen the where condition, single condition, multiple condition, range condition, right? And also the string filters. So using that, I think we have solved these business questions. If you see, we have solved these business questions, listing the restaurants open to after 2000, listing down the customers whose name starts with the RA, and only veg items, beverages and meal types. Item name contains biryani, unique item types, right, using distinct statement. Item rate is greater than 100 rupees or 70 rupees, and item type differ. So all these business questions we have answered. So today get ready with the quiz, and the quiz is, the first question is format for string data. So how do we specify in SQL the string data? Is it using double quotes, single quotes, using parentheses or curly braces? So it is on the single quotes in SQL. And then moving on to the second question, how to give a list of values to a filter, right? List of values. It's not range operator, right? It is a list of values. So in is the right answer, because in we provide inclusion list or exclusion list. And then how to give a column display name, right? Column display name using as and then followed by single quotes, or directly a single quotes, or directly an alternate column name, or all of them. So the answer is all of them, because all 3 formats it works, and it accepts and it provides alternate name. And then how to give a list of names contain an. So when we say contain an, so the first option is more of an exact match, even though we have given like, but we have not given any wild character, so it only do exact match. So this is not the right answer. And select star from, so the percentage an. So this is more of what this will do. This will check the ends with an, right? But the question is contain an. So this one is starts with an. So starts with an. So this also is not the right answer. So the right answer is C, because it provides, it contains an anywhere. If it provides, it shows the output. So with that, today we have learned how to answer business questions using individual table. So I'm highlighting with orange because we have learned some portion of this particular topic. So in tomorrow's session, we are going to learn more way of solving business questions using individual tables. So thank you so much for joining today's session. Have a great day. Thank you.